Well, here we have a display of a partially exposed concrete septic tank. This is the inlet end of the tank where the effluent comes from the house to the septic tank. This inlet fitting in this end of the tank is actually manufactured so that it is higher in the tank than the outlet end of the tank. It's important that this tank be installed level in the ground so that the inlet is higher than the outlet of the tank. We want the effluent to come in and fall into the tank, keeping a small inlet chamber here, an inlet baffle, clear. The act of that water falling in will help keep that baffle area clean and clear. So it's important that the tank be installed level. These tanks can be installed at any depth in the ground or even right at the ground surface. These plastic risers are a fairly recent innovation in that these riser rings can be stacked, so no matter where the tank is in the ground in depth, you can still maintain surface accessibility if that's required in your area. Now this tank is divided into two chambers. It has a dividing wall, and this is your primary treatment tank. We want the solids and the liquid waste from the home to come into here, and this is going to give us a chance to separate and do the primary treatment of the waste. The tank has a dividing wall inside. We'll see that a little later on, and typically 2/3 capacity in the front chamber, 1/3 capacity in the rear chamber. Commonly, septic tanks are 1,000 gallons. It could be 1,500 gallons. And you could have them in series, one behind the other. When we do a septic inspection for real estate transfer, we want to know what kind of tank is in the ground. Is it a concrete tank? Is it in good condition? Is it a steel tank that may be at the end of its life and failing? Old, rusted steel tanks can be life-threatening if they were to collapse, and it does happen occasionally. Okay, this being our primary treatment tank is going to divide or separate the waste into three components. Your sludge is going to settle to the bottom. That's primarily your cellulose and your heavier solids. You're going to have your scum layer floating to the top. That's the lighter solids, soap and grease and toilet tissue before it breaks down. And then we're going to have our liquid layer in the middle. When we do an inspection, or for the homeowner, when you get your sludge level to be 1/3 the capacity of the tank, that is when it is time to have that system pumped and cleaned. Now the common question is, how often do I have to have my tank pumped? In some areas you're required to have it pumped every 2 or 3 years. So it would be important to know what your local requirements are. But in fact, the thing that determines the frequency of your pumping and cleaning is strictly what you do to the system. Your lifestyle and usage is going to depend on how well and how efficiently the system works. So if you're overloading the tank with undigestible solids, kitchen waste, any foreign debris that comes into this tank that has not passed through the esophagus is not going to digest in this tank. This tank is going to contain, hopefully, a healthy colony of anaerobic bacteria, and that anaerobic bacteria will break down and digest human waste.